If I were a Manchester United fan and Mason Greenwood made his way back into the team, I would never watch that football team again.
But that audio was damning, and it doesn't scream good guy to me. It screams bad guy to me. So, therefore, I hope he will not be back at the club.
I think in the end, the right decision has been made. I think if you looked at everything that's gone on, I mean, for me, when everything came to light, you couldn't not see what you saw, and you couldn't not hear what you heard on the clips. They were quite damning. It wasn't like there was no evidence there at all for us to look into. It was just hard to get past that.
He wasn't injured. He wasn't suspended by the league. He was exiled, not by a club, but by the world. At just 21 years old, Mason Greenwood was forced out of the Premier League, not because of how he played, but because of who the public believed he was. After months of silence, failed reintegration talks, and a social media storm, he vanished. But when the world saw an outcast, Marseille saw an opportunity. A broken player, desperate to play. A signing so controversial, the hate arrived before he did. The mayor of Marseille called it a disgrace. Many fans and feminist groups, the transfer wasn't just controversial, it was unforgivable. But even some of his own teammates didn't know what to say. But what happened next, nobody saw coming. To understand how we got here, we need to go back to the beginning. Mason Greenwood was no ordinary footballer. He was the youngest player since George Best to start for Manchester United in Europe. A left foot from another planet. A cold finisher. A future Ballon d'Or contender. Until January 2022, everything stopped. Images, allegations, and voice recordings spread across the internet like wildfire. United suspended him immediately. Sponsors dropped him. Fans erased him. No charges, no trial, but his reputation destroyed. By the time the legal process ended in early 2023, one thing was clear. He would never wear the Manchester United shirt again. While the headlines raged in England, Greenwood quietly went to Spain. Getafe offered him a loan. No press conference, no promises, just a squad number, and a shot at redemption. He didn't just show up, he showed them he wasn't done. 36 games, 10 goals, 6 assists. Named Getafe's player of the season. For the first time in 18 months, people started talking about his football again. Not the past, not the headlines, just the game. And then Marseille called. When Mason Greenwood joined Marseille, everything exploded. Fans were angry, boosters were torn down, women's groups who worked closely with the club called the transfer a betrayal. Even the mayor of Marseille went on TV and said, "This is a disgrace to the city." But to understand why people were so upset, you have to understand what Marseille really is. This isn't just a city, it's a loud, proud place, full of different cultures, languages, and people. It's one of the only cities in the south of France that still votes left, while everywhere around votes far right. Here people fight for justice, for equality, and they're not afraid to speak up. And above all else, they live for football. In Marseille, the club isn't just a team, it's a way of life. You see the logo sprayed on the walls. You feel the stadium shake when goals are scored. People cry when OM loses, and don't sleep when they win. Football is everything here. So when word spread that Greenwood might join, a player accused of horrible things even if the charges were dropped, many felt like the club was crossing a line. A fan group called OM Forum released a long message saying this move went against the club's values. One supporter named Nash said, "I'm disgusted. OM is meant to stand for something. We fight discrimination. We fight for women's rights. This is not what our club is about." A local feminist group wrote on Instagram, "No second chances for attackers. Not on this pitch. Not at this club." Greenwood hadn't even touched the ball, and already half the city wanted him gone. But Marseille's board had one goal in mind: Champions League football. They saw a player who was once worth over £50 million, now available for almost half. A player still young, still talented, and wanted by teams like Barcelona, Juventus, and Atletico. Marseille had gone years without big success, and this was a risk worth taking. According to local papers, club leaders believed that Greenwood had faced the law in England. and since the charges were dropped, he deserved a second chance. Marseille's new manager, Roberto De Zerbi, made his feelings clear. At his first press conference when asked about Greenwood, this is what he said. He's a world-class player. I don't know his background. The only thing I can say is that when a player signs for the club where I work, I consider him as my child. I protect him through thick and thin, even if I can pull his ear in private. I will defend him publicly. He received the same welcome as every new Marseille player. They waited for him at the airport. And Greenwood, he had one mission: to earn back the right to play. In his first few games, fans from other teams booed him. French media ran hit pieces weekly, but Greenwood didn't say a word. He stayed quiet and did the one thing he's always been good at: scoring goals. Right foot, left foot, outside the box, inside the 6-yard line, it didn't matter. He scored 3 in his first 5 games, then 6 and 10. Little by little, things started to change. The boos got quieter. And in Marseille, something special happened. Fans started chanting his name. He wasn't just playing well, he was reminding everyone how talented he was. But even with the goals, something didn't feel right. In April, behind the scenes, trouble started to grow. News came out that Greenwood, along with his teammate, Luis Enrique, wasn't listening to the older players. Some said they were acting unprofessional in training. Not focused, not serious, not ready. Tension was rising. Then in front of the cameras, coach Robert De Zerbi finally said what many had been thinking. I expect more from him. He has to do more, because what he's currently showing is not enough. If he wants to achieve his ambition of becoming a champion, he has to be more consistent, sacrifice more, and be more determined. Even with all the goals, Greenwood was under pressure. Because at Marseille, talent is never enough. You have to prove yourself every single day. He could have given up. He could have cracked under the pressure, but he didn't. He kept going, and he kept scoring. 21 goals in all competitions, 20 in League One, the same number as Ousmane Dembele, the favorite to win the Ballon d'Or. But some of Greenwood's goals weren't easy tap-ins. He was bending shots into the top corner. He was scoring when it mattered most. In some games, he was carrying Marseille on his back, like a real star, like someone who never forgot how to shine, no matter what the world threw at him. Mason Greenwood did something no one expected. He outscored legends. In their League One seasons for Marseille in the 21st century, Didier Drogba scored 19 goals in 2003 and 2004. Gomis scored 20 goals in 2016 and 2017, and now Mason Greenwood has matched that with 20 goals in 2024 and 2025. Greenwood became joint top debut scorer for Marseille this century. He also scored more goals than wonderkids Lamine Yamal and Desiree Doué, the same young stars getting all the attention across Europe. But while they were being hyped, Greenwood's reputation came back to haunt him. When the League One Team of the Year was revealed, Greenwood's name was missing. Not because he wasn't good enough, but because his past still followed him. He had the stats, the performances, the impact, but not the reputation. He wasn't selected, not even mentioned. But the fans knew, the city knew, and Marseille's final league position said everything. Marseille had one goal this season: return to the Champions League, and Greenwood delivered. His goals dragged them into the top 4. They reached the promised land, from exile to elite, from cancelled to continental football. He wasn't just Marseille's top scorer, he was one of the main reasons they reached Europe again. From being erased in England, to being reborn in Spain, to becoming a star in France, Mason Greenwood is still one of the most controversial names in football. But whether you like him or not, he's proving something that no one can deny. You can silence a man, you can exile a player, but you can't erase a goal. And Mason Greenwood just scored 21 of them.
If you enjoyed this video, watch this next.